From Shuma Auto Parts, they are the only supplier of genuine Ford and Mazda parts, which comes straight from the manufacturer. They have everything in stock for and ordinary Mazda and Ford. They also stock service parts such as diesel filters, air con filters, diesel pumps, steering pumps, turbochargers, engine overhaul gaskets, suspension parts, and parts. If they don't have parts you're looking for, they can order within 5 to 10 working days. To top it up, Shuma Auto Parts also supply Maxxis tires and CST tires.
Really? But where are they found?
They are found on Chandram Sonda Road, Cruiser Auto Workshop in Lusaka. Call on 0979 192057 and 0960 747235. Email shumaautoparts@gmail.com. Shuma Auto Parts for all your genuine vehicle parts.
The happy world of 5FM Radio, your adult contemporary radio station in Zambia, connecting you to the newsmakers and events that make news in the global village.
Good evening. This is the 5FM main news at 18:30 with Judith Mwape. The headlines. Government adjusts the allocation of the 2024 CDF, focusing on supporting initiatives related to climate change. President Hichilema set to embark on an official visit to Kenya to attend the Africa Fertilizer and Soil Health Summit. Rescuers contact 11 survivors in South Africa's collapsed building. And now the news in detail. The Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development has adjusted the allocation of the 2024 Constituency Development Fund, CDF, in accordance with the CDF Act No. 11 of 2018, focusing on supporting initiatives related to climate change. In a statement received by 5FM News, Minister in charge, Gary Nkombo, has announced that the entire CDF allocation will be dedicated to community building activities aimed at addressing climate change disasters. The minister says half of the grant allocation will go towards community resilience building activities for climate change, while the other half of the loan component will be directed to similar efforts. Mr. Nkombo has further specified that eligible activities under the community resilience category include providing water for agricultural purposes, setting up irrigation facilities for small-scale farmers, supplying agricultural inputs like seeds, fertilizer, and insecticides, and offering capacity building initiatives to households, classrooms, and cooperatives to enhance resilience and productivity. An official visit to Kenya at the invitation of William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, to attend the Fertilizer and Soil Health Summit, which is scheduled for 9th May 2024. Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs and Integration, Mulambo Haimbe, has said in a statement that the summit will aim to highlight the crucial role of fertilizer and soil health in stimulating sustainable pro-poor productivity growth in African agriculture and to forge consensus on an African fertilizer and soil health action plan. The summit will be preceded by an session and a joint ministerial session for Ministers of Foreign Affairs and Ministers of Agriculture on 7th and 8th May 2024, respectively. Mr. Haimbe says the convening of the summit is timely and aligns seamlessly with Zambia's ambitious economic transformation agenda, and therefore President Hichilema's vision is crucial in order to shore up the government's ongoing efforts to create opportunities for joint ventures and partnerships in the agriculture sector. A report conducted by the Transparency International Zambia, TIZ, titled "The Beautiful Land, Corruption and Discrimination," that because of their weak socio-economic position, persons with disabilities cannot afford the costs of obtaining state land. Speaking at the launch, TIZ highlighted that physical accessibility barriers linked to the design of government offices and the lack of available transport prevented some persons with disabilities from accessing land-related assets. The report further revealed that corrupt actors at different levels typically target land belonging to persons with disabilities and further established that bribes are commonly required to obtain state land, with several affected community members indicating that they had received requests for facilitation payments from administrative officials at different levels. Two suspects identified as Timothy Kampamba, aged 26, of Soweto B in Kapirimposhi district, and Abraham Mulenga, aged 30, of the Ilanda compound in Lusaka, have been arrested for personating public officers. Confirming the development, Police Deputy Spokesperson Mwale says around 9 hours today, the two suspects presented themselves as officers from the Department of Immigration and arrested a worker of a shop owned by a foreign national in Ballaston Park area after refusing to give them undisclosed amount of money which they demanded. Mr. Mwale explains that Mr. Kampamba was in full Department of Immigration uniform while Mr. Mnenga was in a suit and managed to have their suspects detained at the Landa compound police post. He says while at the police post, officers immediately interrogated the two and later discovered that they were not employed at the Department of Immigration.
Presented themselves as officers from the Department of Immigration and arrested a worker at a shop owned by a Ballaston Park area after he refused to give them an undisclosed amount of money which they demanded. Mr. Kampamba was in full Department of managed to have their suspect detained at Liranda compound police post. While at the police post,
the Anti-Corruption Commission has arrested and charged former Council Secretary Benson Bwenje and a former councillor for Hamangaba Ward, Bwengwa constituency, Mabin Chongo, for conflict of interest. Mr. Benson Bwenje, aged 47, currently Council Secretary at Iteji Town Council, has been charged with one count of conflict of interest, contrary to Section 28(2), as read together with 1041 of the Anti-Corruption Act No. 3 of 2012 of the laws of Zambia. Meanwhile, Mr. Mabin Chongo of Choma has been charged with one count of conflict of interest, contrary to paragraph 6, 1, and 7 of the third schedule of the Local Government Act No. 2 of 2019 of the laws of Zambia. ACC Head of Corporate Communication Timothy Mono says the suspects have been released on bond and will appear in court on 10th May 2024.
Benson Wenje and Mabin Mdenda bought a plot each from a person in Monze who had a residential plot, and they requested him to have it subdivided for purposes of them being able to use their plots in the manner that they wanted. So they requested this vendor of the plot to make an application to the council, Monze Council, for change of use and subdivision of the said plot. And in the process, they sat in the meeting of the council that deliberated on the application to approve the subdivision as well as the change of use of this plot.
The Health Professions Council of Zambia, HPCZ, has applauded Kitwe residents for information leading to the warn and caution of a 38-year-old and holding out as a health practitioner. Brace Mwele, a resident of Kitwe's Ndeke Township, but whose illegal facility is located in Bulangirilo area in Kitwe, was reported to HPCZ from concerned members of the public. HPCZ Public Relations Manager Terry Msonda explains that upon receipt of the information, a joint reactive inspection was conducted by HPCZ and the Zambia Police Service, during which it was discovered that the suspect had been attending to patients and administering medications without registration and a practicing certificate from HPCZ. He says Mr. Mwele claimed to have been trained as a medical doctor in neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo, but admitted not being registered as a health practitioner by HPCZ in Zambia. Mr. Msonda says he has been charged for practicing without being registered, holding out a health practitioner, and operating a health facility without a license.
Congo and has been operating illegally, though he admitted that he had no authority to practice in Zambia as such. And we want to reiterate that the public support shall not be taken for granted. We want to appreciate the thing by being alert, and HPCZ shall not take their support for granted, and continue as HPCZ on the trajectory of ensuring that we empower the public with information so that as they are seeking health services, they are conscious of the type.
Another story trending this evening. Permanent Secretary for Special Duties, Patrick Muche, electricity tariffs have been another challenge that has stopped the independent power producers to come on board in the past. The Zambia Medicines and Medical Supply Agency, ZAMSA, has commenced the implementation of the Medicines and Medical Supplies Fund. Up next, the business news.
5FM Radio Business News. We mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
British High Commissioner to Zambia, Nicholas Woolley, says he is highly impressed with the adapting agility of Zambia Sugar PLC in its business processes, especially efficient irrigation technology amid the effects of climate. Speaking to the media this morning after a tour of the plant the previous day that has a self-sufficient value chain within the country, he stated that being able to grow their own cane and process it to finished products ensures that no jobs are exported outside the country, hence benefiting the local community. Sugar's robust business approach was yielding benefits for the country, including the generation of $200 million in export income the company earns for the country per year. He has observed that the company's performance is testament in the community too, through the manner benefits are flowing to various needy areas where the company operates, as well as the whole economy.
The company continues to provide a big source of income for the Zambian government through part of the very large amount of tax that it pays. It is very trailblazing in the sense of it producing the whole value chain from growing the crop right through to the processing, right through to the production. And that ensures that the value
And speaking during the same interaction, Zambia Sugar PLC Managing Director Oswald Mangwenzi regretted the impact of the current drought power crisis on smallholder cane growers.
So the lack of rain has really impacted crop growing, and it has also impacted the power. So most of the growers are now being load shed from anything between rain is free irrigation. It doesn't cost anything. So when you don't get rain, your costs significantly increase, particularly for our smallholder growers who may not have the.
Ends the business news.
5FM Radio Business News. We mean business. Keep you current and industry, local and global. It's our
more survivors of an apartment building that collapsed in the coastal city of George on Monday. At least 5 people are confirmed dead and more than 50 are missing after the under construction 5-story building collapsed for as yet undetermined reasons. At the scene on Tuesday morning, emergency site removing concrete blocks and debris by hand. Here's a roundup from the BBC.
The UN's Migration Agency says it's ready to help dozens of migrants who were rescued in Libya after being held captive in a house in the southeast. On Monday, the authorities in Benghazi said 107 migrants had been found when the hideout in Al-Kufra was raided. Some are reported to be in very poor health. Videos show people with torture marks on their bodies and aid workers helping them into ambulances. Rescue teams in South Africa are in contact with 11 of the construction workers trapped under a building that collapsed in the city of George. The rescuers are concentrating on areas where they've heard calls for help. Vietnam has marked the 70th anniversary of a decisive battle against former French rulers. Dien Bien Phu was one of the most important battles of the last century.
And finally, in sports news, Zambia under-17 women's national team coach Carol Kanimba says the princesses cannot wait to play in front of supporters at National Hero Stadium for the first time on Sunday. Zambia will have the opportunity to play at the 50,009 capacity stadium when they take on Uganda in the 2024 Under-17 FIFA Women's World Cup third round first leg qualifier. It will be the first time that a women's national team will be setting foot at the ultra-modern stadium for a competitive match since it was opened in May 2014. The match will kick off at 12:30 hours, and Kanimba shares the team's readiness for the exciting encounter against the Teen Cranes, who knocked out Cameroon to set up a third-round meeting with the Copper Princesses. The return leg will take place on 17th May 2024 at St. Mary's Stadium in Kitende, and the winner over both legs will face either Morocco or Algeria in the fourth and final round for a place at the 2024 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup to be staged in the Dominican Republic. And now the weather report brought to you by Classic.
Class Econ Roofing, plot 17100 off Katanga Road, 150 meters from Mumbwa Road, Chinika Industrial Area, Lusaka. Class Econ Roofing. Class plus economy. Class Econ. Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class.
Muchinga and eastern provinces, including the partly cloudy, windy at times and mild. Western, southern, and Lusaka provinces, including the southern parts of Central Province, are mainly clear, windy at times, and warm to mild. Hence the weather report.
Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ Roofing, plot 17100 off Katanga Road, 150 meters from Mumbwa Road, Chinika Industrial Area, Lusaka. Class Econ Roofing. Class plus economy. Class Econ. Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ.
And that weather report brings us to the end of the news this evening. Government adjusts the allocation of the 2024 CDF, focusing on supporting initiatives related to climate change. President Hichilema set to embark on an official rescuers contact 11 survivors in South Africa's collapsed building. On behalf of the entire news crew and the technical department, thank you for listening to the Happy World of 5FM. Stay safe and stay tuned to 5FM Radio. I'm Judith Mwabe. Good evening.